Don't hate just because
All
they're better
right.
defensive players.
We're not hating at all. We are welcome to another episode of the Freezin North Podcast, episode 123. Maybe a little bit of hate. It's always a little bit of Packer hate, but it's all love here. We are episode 123. Bears All-Star coaching staff guarantees the playoffs in 2025. We'll talk about that. Also, which NFC North team will decline in 2025, plus Super Bowl NFC North connections. There are some. We'll talk about those, all that, and more. You can find me on NFL Outdated on YouTube, on Twitter. You can find us on the TikTok, Freezin #4 pod. And as we get going, where can we find you in the corner? We do have the Viking contingent tonight, so where can we find you, Rhino, as we get started?
Vikings Uncensored on Facebook and YouTube, at Vikes Uncensored on the Twitter X machine.
All good stuff. And Dre, welcome back. Where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on either Twitter/X or Blue Sky or Facebook or whatever at Skullman Sports. Hit me up. I'm always good to talk.
Always good stuff there as well. Definitely glad to have the Viking contingent, and always glad to have you back, Miles, as well, with the rose-tinted sunglasses. Where can we find you?
Yes, the future still is bright, guys. You guys can find me Monday nights, 9:30, streaming live on the Pack Weekly Pod. Check us out, Packers Talk YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe there, and come have some fun with us on Monday nights.
Lots of great stuff there as well. And Seventh Letter, where can we find you, sir?
Seventh Letter 4 on Twitter X, same OG on Instagram and Facebook, and on top of the NFC North instead.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And, and on the couch, just right alongside the rest of us.
Son of a gun. That's true.
On 3.
Yeah.
Did you order your banner yet to hang in the background?
No, because and my brother Reverend Trevin don't really like those in the back. So
he does not. He does not. That was
about Rev. Let him know.
Another Viking fan. I don't think that was you. No, I don't believe that was you.
Oh, wasn't him.
Nope. It was a different Viking fan that hung the Viking NFC North Championship banner in the background. Which
no.
Hey,
I don't have any of those back there, so
yeah.
Don't do it.
And the Reverend killed him, yo. In the name of
Jesus. Did he go after Zadarius
I don't have any
Smith
either.
accordingly?
Oh,
did you see what Zadarius Smith did?
No, this is breaking
what,
news.
Sign with Chicago to get the whole NFC North thing out now, or what?
I thought Seventh Letter might have seen this one. Zadarius Smith went off and bought himself a ring.
Yeah.
Really?
A division ring, man.
That's
and
right.
this is not the first time with these types of shenanigans. He also made himself a captain's chain whenever he wasn't voted a captain for the Packers.
That's okay.
It's just like, dude, go get the ring, man. Don't go make a division ring.
But as all of us have found out, Zadarius Smith plays well for like 3 games in the first half of the season, and then decides to go.
We tried to tell you
the whole second half.
Well, he's not that. You know what I mean? He's like with Aiden and Aleem, he'll be better. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are actually going to bring him back again?
I would. At least he was healthy. Shoot.
Okay.
Davenport only lasted 2 games. He lasted longer than Davenport. He made it all the way
there again, Davenport, same thing. I mean, they call him Davenport for a reason because he's always sitting on the couch. So,
well, hey, that name's going to come up in a little bit later. But all this, Viking Lion talk, it's kind of a little bit tiresome to me. Let's really talk about the real team. I mean, you look at all these the coaches that the Bears are assembling. It's an all-star cast. I just don't know how the NFC North is going to compete this year. I mean, you got Ben Johnson
again,
now.
the Chicago Bears
don't know.
are apparently winning the offseason, but yet to translate into any sort of actual.
Yeah, they're going to take the North and never give it back, right?
Well, you look at this coaching staff.
Don't know where they're
Antoine
taking it, but they took it
Randall
somewhere.
L. I mean, you look at obviously Ben Johnson, a lot of hoopla coming in. He's really forming an all-star coaching staff, bringing in, the running backs coach. hey, we got the best coaching staff in the division.
Yeah, he got fired from UCLA.
No, it was a mutual parting.
Brought in
Okay.
a running
Yes,
back coach because
yes.
they don't have a quarterback. So
Got it.
Yes. It was a mutual parting. And as you look at all this coaching staff, you look at the what I'm really focused on. Obviously, I love what the Bears are going to be doing with Caleb Williams, all of that. That's great. But what's really kind of interesting is Dennis Allen in his own words and just what he's really talking about. I think that's going to bring a real big edge to them. He says he wants to bring an attacking, aggressive style of defense, and he wants to take the fight to the offense. That's what we really need. I think Eberflus had done some of those good things.
Yes.
But I think Dennis Allen is going to take it to the next step and be able to really focus on that. What I like, just the tough physical brand of football, talking about. Also, I think what he's also talking about is that he has a different defensive system than Eberflus, but it's not going to require too much of a depth chart overhaul. He does do the 4-3 base defense, spends a lot of time in sub packages. So I'm looking forward to kind of how that will shake out with the defensive pieces that we have, and maybe that we're going to add in the offseason draft, all that. Obviously, Allen isn't afraid to blitz with exotic locations. Vikings, about exotic blitzes as well, just not exotic locations for the big game. Right. But when you look at it defensively, I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for this coaching staff. I mean, seventh letter, you have to be drooling about this coaching staff, right?
Not at all.
Not at all. Basically, you lost everybody. You got Dan Campbell crying in the corner, using all these. It's just. Whew. When you look at it,
that's fired already.
You know what? As we know, through the whole year, through the whole 3 years that I've known you, I love Ben Johnson for the good days, but when the cute stuff, I'm like just go away. Matter of fact, you wanted to be a coach. You and Aaron Glenn, you coached your 2 worst games of your whole career on your last game. Go away. Go be a Jet. Go be a Bear. Do what you want to do. Go call Dennis Allen week 16 and make sure, if he wants to work for you, go. Just go. Bye. I'm good. Peace. Randall L., I'm sad about him. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And I think he's going to be the assistant to head coach as well. So I'm really looking forward to kind of what he's going to bring. Yeah, I just think, obviously the Bears haven't had the leadership at the top, and I'm excited about that of what, obviously Ben Johnson's a new head coach, and it's hard to kind of really gauge what he's going to be. But when you have all of this, firepower, obviously it's got to turn into wins. But, you look at the players and you look at, Jalen Johnson finally coming out and saying he's excited for this team and there's no reason why we can't compete. So I'm looking at it, it wasn't
no reason why you couldn't compete last year.
Well, there was one
reason. Coaching.
There were 2 reasons.
I'm excited that we're going to suck next year.
There were 2 reasons the Bears did not do well last year, right?
Their offense and their defense.
Oh, thank you. Now, Eberflus and Mr. Waldron. All right. So those 2, you get those guys out of here. Shane Waldron's not going to be an offensive coordinator. And yet, what Caleb Williams
lost 10 games after they fired Eberflus.
Well, absolutely. Because he was calling the defensive plays, and it came out obviously that Eric Washington, he was actually calling friends and colleagues to see what he should call on defense, and then wasn't taking their advice. So it was just ridiculous. And so there wasn't that leadership on the offensive side of the ball. There wasn't leadership on the defensive side of the ball. And now it looks like Ryan Poles might sign a contract extension to kind of match up with Ben Johnson. So we'll see. I'm excited. I mean, right now on paper, I think the Bears have the best coaching in the division. I mean, I'd say it's the Bears, Vikings, Packers, Lions. Lions really don't have anybody. I don't even know if they're gonna.
No, that's what y'all said about us 2 years ago, man. It's all right.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. I do remember. Yeah, Ben Johnson was the tight ends coach, right? And he kind of elevated him, right? I remember you saying that. Yeah. So
I seem to remember Eberflus getting a shave and some khakis, and he was the best coach in the division about this time last year too. So
relax.
This is different, Dre. This is different. I mean, what do you have to say?
This is Matt Nagy.
It's the one. This is the one. Right?
I'm gonna be.
This is what Buddy says about that one girl. So she's the one.
She's the one.
So 2 years,
our coaching staff hasn't changed.
It's going to be the whole thing. 2 years from now, they're going to decide that Caleb Williams isn't it. So they're on that 2-year cycle off with the quarterback and the head coach. So in 2 years, that Caleb Williams is going to be gone, then they're going to draft the next guy that Andy's going to think is the next guy to get a gold jacket during the preseason of his rookie year.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you guys a chance here, and I think I know where we're going to go with this one. Then on that Caleb Williams.
I'll be honest, Andy. I do think you guys would be much better than you were last year. I think that you have better. Like Eberflus's Achilles heel was he wasn't able to select the coaching staff. Even last year, kind of the same deal. Like somebody got arrested or something. In the middle of the year, nobody knows what happened. And it was so hopefully Ben Johnson will add some stability with the men that he has there. One thing about Randall, you saw what he did to Jameson Williams. Like a lot of that shit that y'all was doing last year is not gonna fly there. You know what I mean? All that Keenan Allen shit, all that DJ Moore walking off the field stuff, that's not gonna fly. You're gonna sit on this bench and Tyler Scott will be playing. You know what I'm saying? Roman Dunze got all the talent in the world, so he'll get everything out of that. So, and then your quarterback, we joke about it, but we got eyes. We know he got something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. On that note, then I'm gonna let Miles. I'm gonna let you start on this one here.
Oh, Jaden Daniels, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on. We're not there yet.
Prisoner of the moment. That's all right. That's all right.
Relax.
You got the best coaching staff in the North. You got Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. No, it's Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, he's done it, right?
Or maybe it might be a Stroud Bryce situation. Maybe maybe it might be that next year. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to project anything, but where we stand right now, that's not
no
a
way.
question.
Exactly.
Jaden
Daniels has won big games. A lot of games that Caleb lost, he won. So.
Jaden Daniels should be rookie of the year.
Totally
agree.
I agree with that.
And then if you look at what the Commanders started with at the beginning of the season, what the Bears started with, the Commanders I didn't think had that much to offer this season at all.
No. They had a bit of offensive
coming
line.
in and being part of that. And obviously I think the coaching staff there has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah, 2024 was a year that we all found out coaching really, really matters.
It matters, man.
Really matters.
It's not like the NBA. It's not like the NBA.
No.
Where you just throw Nick Nurse in it at coach and win a title. Get out of here. All right.
Coaching matters. That's why there were so many really good teams and so many really bad teams. You know what I mean? There really wasn't a lot of middle this year. It was like really good or really bad. Vikings are lying 15-14-2 going into a. So yes.
Now,
are you going to go with my guy Caleb here? Anybody going to go with me on Caleb here?
Let me say this. I still like Caleb. I don't think has changed anything yet. Right. Coming into the season, we knew he was talented. There's raw talent there. Obviously, you guys didn't have the coaching in place to develop that, but I still, now that the coaching is in place. Is he a guy who can do the progressions? Can he sit there and go through the progression? Can he win the chess match as a quarterback? Because I honestly feel like he didn't do that in college either. And you had one of the best quarterback coaches in college in why am I blanking on his name? You can see his face. USC
Cliff Kingsbury.
No, well, not Cliff.
He was the OC, yeah.
Right, he was the OC, but I'm thinking of the head coach. He went from OU to USC.
Oh,
man, I can see his face. I can't even remember his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had a phenomenal track record with quarterbacks at OU, and then all of a sudden, the generational talent is the one that can't quite get it done. It just like there's still a big question mark there for me with Caleb. And it's not about talent. It's about being able to harness that talent. I just haven't seen it.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, thank you. Lincoln Riley. I mean, and his track record with quarterbacks in college and coming into the NFL, right? They had success in college and in the NFL, the guys that he had coached before that. And then Caleb Williams, there's a big question mark there for me about whether he can actually harness that talent, go through a progression, win the chess match win with his mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, so I'm going to go ahead and, obviously clip this part of it because, I'm all Caleb Williams. Everyone is a prisoner of a moment, right? It's like, oh, let's redraft, and Jaden Daniels, I will admit, is a lot better than I thought. I thought, you'd only see half the field. I thought he was going to be more like what Justin Fields became, right? How crazy though would it be if Justin Fields ended up in Minnesota? That may be a discussion for another day, but that would be wild, wouldn't it, Rhino?
I don't really see it happening because it does.
Got Daniel Jones already.
Well, and that Jones will be the backup next year, I think. But
all right,
yeah. But
I mean, kind of like both suck. So.
I mean, it is the Kevin O'Connell, fix this house quarterback edition type thing that the reclamation projects. Could he make something out of Justin Fields? Maybe. I mean, Fields looked better in Pittsburgh with freaking Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator than he ever did in Chicago. So
I'm going to say if the Vikings get a new reclamation project and they don't introduce the quarterback by the whole move that bus promo with the quarterback, move that bus, and then their new quarterback is right there, I think they're missing out. I mean, that would be just amazing. We've got, picture of Sam Darnold on the bus, move that bus, and then it's quarterback, new quarterback behind it. That would be just amazing. And if it was Caleb Williams, I don't know. I think I'm going to say
You're already giving up on Caleb Williams and getting him over to us for a reclamation.
No,
project?
sorry. Not Caleb Williams.
Is that like a Freudian slip? Is that what they call that?
It was. If it was Justin Fields, it was Justin Fields. I do think KOC could do a lot with Justin Fields. I think that would,
Justin Fields is to sign with the Chargers, find Greg Roman, and just be a backup because the way Harbaugh run that offense. Herbert's gonna get hurt eventually.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He can learn, but I always kind of thought if they get Greg Roman, man, then you keep Justin Fields, and they can Kaepernick shit for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And get some wins.
Roman would be a guy that could get something out of him
for sure.
Well, I want to ask. We haven't had a Viking contingent in a little bit, so I want to ask the Viking contingent here a little bit more. And we haven't really heard from you as much on this lately, Rhino. What are your thoughts on the Vikings and how far are they away from being contender in 2025? Because I think I was wrong, I admit, about the Vikings in 2024. But you're starting over again. So how far, are you a few players back away? I mean, what realistically would it take for the Vikings to be contenders in 2025?
Basically, we need 2 interior offensive linemen and a number 1 cornerback. Gilmore most likely is retiring at the end of the, after things are all said and done here. Shaq Griffin was sneaky good for us this year. I wouldn't mind seeing him come back, but we do need, that number 1 cornerback. Byron Murphy's probably going elsewhere because if you believe the rumbles on contract stuff, I know Spotrac has him at getting like a $22 million contract next year. And that's for a slot corner. That is way more than I would be willing to spend. And I don't think Kwesi's going to spend that kind of money either. So we do need some help in the back end. We got guys, but they're all young and inexperienced. So I would like to see him go after like a DJ Reed or somebody like that for the veteran presence, and then probably draft another one. Interior offensive line, you do that through free agency. You go look at, of course, the big name is Trey Smith. Everybody's in on Trey Smith, but there's a few other guys out there that would be definite upgrades that we could get in there. Big one I'm looking at is center. I really like Drew Dahlman out of with Atlanta. He's a far and away an upgrade over Garrett Bradbury. And he's young. He's only 27, so he'd be around for a while. Now, I mean, if you want a short term, you've got like Ryan Kelly coming out of Indianapolis. It might be probably available, but he's 35, so he's probably like a 1-year Band-Aid, something like that. Now, putting somebody with that experience, on the line with JJ McCarthy, a quarterback, might not be the worst thing in the world either, but I think if you hit those couple areas there, supplement with this is a deep running back class. We need to get somebody who can hit the home run on the out of the backfield. Aaron Jones wants to come back. He's that good guy for the intermediate stuff, but he doesn't have that home run power that we're kind of missing. So, there's a few pieces, but I mean, we did a lot more than most people thought we were going to do this year with what we had, and there's no reason we can't do the same thing next year. So,
you talk about running back. One name, obviously, that I love as an Iowa Hawkeye fan is Caleb Johnson. I mean, if he ends up somewhere in the NFC North other than Chicago, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed because, I love my Hawkeyes.
He's a guy I've heard that, as a potential pick for the Vikings. Now, we're sitting at pick 24 in the first round. That's kind of where I've seen him picked a few times.
Even the second round, possibly, because there's a lot
honestly, I think unless there's a guy that is sitting there at 24 that we absolutely love, I think we're probably trading back because we only have 4 picks right now. So you're probably trading back to the end of that first round, early second round, and then pick up another, a third and maybe some other stuff just to kind of replenish the cupboard a little bit. But
give me some of that scatterboo, man.
Oh,
like that. Give me that.
I like him too, but there again, he's more of that.
You need a tone setter.
and the run you over kind of thing. It's not the whole. I mean, which I would like to have that as well, but we do need somebody who can hit that hole and take it 80 yards
downhill
for a touchdown.
running back.
Well, you're gonna have to draft up. You know what I mean? Like if that's there, you're gonna have to get them. You're gonna have to get them.
Well, I mean, this running back class is absurdly deep. I mean, there's going to be a ton of guys in that third, fourth, fifth round that are going to be very good pros. So,
well, the NFL showed us this year how important running backs are. So it might be the fleet.
They're making a bit of a comeback. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no quarterbacks in the draft. It's really only one. They say two.
Yeah,
I would say 2.
Yeah, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I think you guys are overlooking Will Howard a little bit.
Ooh, yes. We'll get to that in a sec. Yeah.
My personal thoughts on Shedeur Sanders is if his name was Shedeur Johnson, he'd be a second or third round pick.
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's the only reason why he's even considered in that top, or even as a first round talent and up potentially at the top of the draft, is because Deion's his old man. That's the only reason.
Cam Ward is clearly better.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
No question whatsoever.
I agree.
So, Dre, I wanted to ask you too, are you kind of on the same wavelength as Rhino on some of those Vikings needs?
Yeah, I think so. Like overall, yeah, I think generally speaking, I would say I would put it like running back is kind of a bigger priority over like corner a little bit more, and just because like I think like that's kind of where obviously we struggled a little bit more, and most of our running backs are like receiving backs, which is a good, like obviously good skill to have, but like we've kind of already said it, like the downhill, like you just want somebody to like basically run straight at it, like find a hole and go. Like we don't have that right now. I mean, obviously Jones can do that at times, but he's better obviously if he can go around the side and then find that opening that way. And I would love to have him back as a vet, like giving advice. I think like he has a lot of that, and he does have skill. As he showed this year, he does get a little banged up toward the end of the year, so that's not good. And especially he is on the older side of things, so that kind of hurts a little bit. As with probably anybody who's looking at the draft, obviously, Genty is probably at the top of most running back lists. So I would love if he fell.
He's not getting past.
He's not falling that. He's not falling that far. I'm just saying, like it's a nice thing to desire for. I'm not saying we're ever going to get that.
No, if he's there, you knock over tables, little old ladies, and everything else is in your way to get up there with the draft card. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think he's fallen that far, but he's he was in my opinion, he was the big like pick for like Heisman and stuff like that. So I think like if they could get him, great. If not, I haven't looked into enough to know exactly who.
Well, thankfully we have someone here who was doing some Senior Bowl coverage. Miles, I wanted to tap your brain here. So did you get a chance to go or to the Senior Bowl then?
Not to the Senior Bowl. I was at the Shrine Bowl.
Shrine Bowl, that's what it was. Okay, so
but I was paying attention to the Senior Bowl.
Okay, so tell us a little bit from the Shrine Bowl, kind of your experiences, and then maybe some players that that you saw that you would like. Obviously,
get your notes out.
Players to watch
here.
Yeah.
So first of all, super interesting experience. There's not a whole lot of times where you get to actually watch two teams prepare to play each other in a week. Mm-hmm. Obviously in the NFL, that would be very difficult, with the geographic difference. So one thing I wanted to call out is early in the week after the first practice, I would have told you that the West was the more talented team, and probably would have bet on the West.
Didn't it get them out of there and stop the game?
The West got shut out.
Yeah, 25.
So where my opinion drastically changed to align with what happened was the last practice. The last practice, the West team came out, no pads. It very much felt like a walkthrough. The East team came out. It was a full practice, full pads, full speed. And it just felt live. And at that point, I was like, doesn't matter. East is winning. And they did. That said, there was a lot of guys that were really kind of fun to watch this week, and it's interesting to go back and look at rankings and see how they compare to what you've seen in front of you. I will say the hardest part about something like that is getting to see all of it. You're watching one-on-ones between receivers and DBs. That means you're missing one-on-ones on the D-line, O-line. But most of all, it was a really great experience just to see these guys up close and personal and kind of see how their personalities end up impacting their play on the field, right? You can almost get a read on, who has the endurance throughout the week to still like be ready to play at the end of that week in that game, because there's some endurance involved there. It's a long week for these guys. You can tell by the end of the week, some of them are just like, they're really over it. But anyway, let's get into some standouts. Did not get to witness Shadur play, so I can't comment on him. He was there. Seems like a cool dude. Met with a lot of teams, but overall didn't get to see anything from him on the field. The quarterbacks were kind of underwhelming, but one guy that is, significant, I guess, to everybody is Syracuse quarterback Kyle McCord. Obviously was at Ohio State before. He had a good enough week that they shut him down and didn't have him play in the game. That's typically a good sign that the scouts liked what they saw. That was a little bit more obvious at the Senior Bowl, right, with guys like Mike Green and some of those others where they shut it down after day one. It's like very obvious, hey, we know what you are. You're showing what you are. Don't go get hurt. So, yeah, the best indication of how a guy is doing throughout those two games is who gets shut down throughout the week, because that means they've done good enough to be yanked off the field by the scouts. And so Kyle McCord was one of those guys. His teammate, tight end from Syracuse, Oronde Gadsden, was also one of those guys. Really big body, but also very athletic. I think the questions coming in about him were, how big is he? Or is he more of just like a big receiver? The guy is a tight end. The guy is big. He's physical. He's one that I think is going to sneak onto the scene a little bit, and tight ends can have a tendency to do that. But yeah, he had a great week. A guy I really liked, and I'm not usually a big fan of small DBs, is Kobe Bryant. He measured in, I think, at like 171 on weight, which seems really small. He's like 6 foot 6'1", so he's not short. But the guy played like one of the biggest DBs at the Shrine Bowl. I mean, he came out and immediately was physical with one of the larger receivers, a kid out of Nebraska. I think his name is Nair. Immediately, first rep, got the pass breakup by being physical with him. He got pass breakups on tight ends. He got shut down after 2 days of practice because everybody saw what they needed to from him. Got a couple interceptions. I mean, he just absolutely was a playmaker every time he was on the field. So that's one that if you guys think undersized DBs maybe aren't your cup of tea, you check this guy twice because he looks good. Playmaker, and the attitude follows with it. I got to talk to him a little bit. He has no idea that he's 170 pounds. He'll fight a guy that's 250 pounds. Like, the guy is just full of piss and vinegar. So that was fun to watch. There's a lot of guys. I feel like I could really go down the list. CJ West was a fun one, interior D line. Cam Horsley, interior D line, was another one that I thought made a great impression this week. Several O-line guys made great impressions. One I want to call out was Thomas Berry from Middlebury. D3 dude, got out there, held his own against these D1 guys, had a very impressive one-on-one rep against one of the Georgia D tackles where he
offensive lineman Thomas Berry. Yep. From Middlebury.
Yes. So it's always cool to see a D3 guy break into the scene and hold his own. And he very much did. That guy is going to be on an NFL roster. He's just he's one of those dudes that my tweet about him was he wakes up, ready to eat hard work for breakfast and then ask for more. Like, the guy is just a tank. So there was a lot. There was a lot of fun guys that, we were talking about running backs. The other, the running back out of Arizona, what was his name? Shoot.
They got one out of Texas Tech, Taj Brooks. He
did have a good week. Yep. Taj Brooks had a good week.
Yeah, so I mean, you talk about deep for running backs. It's always interesting. I didn't realize when you talk about the Reese's Senior Bowl versus the Shrine Bowl. I mean, I'm not even sure like how they decide like the which is which as far as which players go to which one, but
it's all on invite. There was a little bit of an interesting beef that happened on, if you're in Twitter, Jim Nagy is the guy that leads the Senior Bowl, and he had a little bit of a snarky comment about Dallas media that was leaving Dallas and going to Mobile. You maybe need to adjust your eyes a little bit. So he had a little shots fired at the Shrine Bowl and the level of talent there, but so I think the perception is that the talent's higher at the Senior Bowl, and I think that's fair. But make no mistake about it, these guys at the Shrine Bowl, a lot of them are going to be on NFL rosters. They made a big difference for themselves in the week at the Shrine Bowl. The one I was looking for was Krosky Merritt, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, the Arizona running back. He had a hell of a game in the Shrine Bowl game, but he had a whole week of practice where he was dominating. So there's a lot, right? There's a lot here. So if you guys are draft nerds, definitely go back and dive into the Shrine Bowl, dive into the Senior Bowl. There is a lot to take from it. I'm not great at, making a big board yet and all that, but what I'm trying to do and what we'll do, I guess maybe a little bit of a preview for our pod is, this season we're getting into the draft season. We're going to be breaking down each position each week and trying to take a little bit of an aim at who we think the Packers will be looking at, but we're still going to be talking about these prospects and getting a little bit closer to them. So, it's relevant for everybody here.
It is. And you know, obviously, for all of us, we'd like to be in the Super Bowl. We'd like to be our teams to be there. We are not there. We obviously we talked from the beginning of the season. We thought that one of our teams was going to be there, but obviously we're focused on the draft, focused on these different things. But I also want to look back at you know, the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's the Eagles versus the Chiefs. Chiefs Eagles, and you look at the NFC North connections. I looked at the rosters, and as far as I can tell, at least impact players, the Chiefs don't have anybody from the NFC North that I could see. Maybe I missed somebody, but the Chiefs have Chiefs players. It looked like they draft well, especially on defense. You look at their defense, it's like all Chiefs players and young players. So that defense for the Chiefs, it's looking tight. And sorry, Rhino, I looked at the Eagles roster. I don't think I could find any Vikings on either the Chiefs or Eagles rosters that
Cine.
Oh, is Lewis Cine on the
Eagles?
Is
on the Eagles, yeah.
Okay. So a former
Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Okay. So is he he must be kind of a backup though, right? Because he played out in Minnesota. That was like he got injured and
he I wish it had worked out. I think like the post that like leg break, I think like he just kind of fell off a little bit. I know he went to the practice squad in Buffalo and then the Eagles picked him up. But yeah, I like the guy. I don't think it worked. I don't think he worked in Flores' defense. So I think that's why it faded off. But I'm rooting for him, if anything, if he shows his face.
Well, speaking of a player that faded, seventh letter, we started talking about a little bit ahead of time. The Lions connection, one of the Lions connections to the Super Bowl, and I think you know where I'm going with this.
Darius Slay, of course.
Yeah.
All right. We'll start with Darius Slay. We'll start there. So, played 7 seasons with the Lions, 39 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 13 pass deflections in 2024. You miss him, don't you?
Love him. Love Darius Slay. Good guy. Could cover whoever. You know, he getting a little older now, but he can come back home if he want. You know what I mean? All right, we need corners, so I'll take him back any day. Good luck, Darius. I want him to win. I want him to win bad. He deserves it. He's a good guy. Now, go to the other bum you about to put up.
Speaking of someone who didn't come home for a while, and I think you were trying to find him, C.J. Gardner-Johnson played
the one that started talking crazy and got stiff-armed out of bounds twice last year.
I think he played 3 games last year, but this year, obviously, maybe with a better defensive coordinator, maybe. I don't know.
No.
35 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 6 interceptions.
A good pass rush, no injuries. Okay, good pass rush, no injuries, inerrant passes. Yes, because he was getting cooked even against the Packers. He was falling on the ground getting barbecued. He be getting cooked still. He just gets a lot of those overthrow interceptions. Yes, all right. He good on the middle of the field. He catch the ball when it's in his arms, but he's a bum. Get him out of here.
So you don't miss him.
No, he the one had us wearing them stupid ass face masks. Get him the fuck out of here. Can't stand him, yo. So I don't like people that talk in his guard, like his booty, like, you know what I mean? Like the name was like, oh, we got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Then he played. I'm like, Brian Branch is way better than him. You know what I'm saying? Way better. Put Brian Branch in. Thank God we drafted Brian Branch because we had him, and it was like, okay, let's just get Branch, whatever. We'll sign him for a year, see if it work out. It didn't, and he gone. Wow. Yeah. Get him out of here.
So, Miles, do you know any Packer connections to the Super Bowl?
There's none to the Chiefs, but there is one to the Eagles.
Yes. Do you know who that is?
Orrin Burks.
Very well done. Well done. Yes. Linebacker Orrin Burks.
He did us a little bit dirty in that game. You know,
he played good. Yeah, he did. You know what? When I saw him, I said he looked like a Packer. Some reason. I know y'all linebackers. They all kind of the same. The guy that went to the 49ers, same kind of dude. Same kind of dude. Small and aggressive.
Yep.
Y'all got one now. That's rookie. The rookie.
Cooper.
Cooper.
Same kind of dude. Aggressive.
So there is.
Stud, though.
There is one other Wisconsin connection. With the.
Now we got Wisconsin connections.
Cooper?
Yes.
Cooper DeJean?
No, these
it's,
are
that's Iowa. That's Iowa.
Yeah.
Zach Bond. And then there's also, I think, there's at least one Badger on the Chiefs. Chanel. Is there another one?
Oh, Leo Chanel.
Leah Chanel is a
Okay,
Badger.
yeah. So I was thinking of Zach Bond. He does a lot of fundraising stuff just charity work in the area. Obviously, I think here coming up in the next couple months. But yeah, 93 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 1 interception. I don't know when you look at it. I mean, who you guys got in the Super Bowl?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
This Pat Mahomes movie now, baby.
I mean, it is.
Just like Tom Brady, man. We was a part of his movie. We're a part of Patty Mahomes' movie now, man. We all know what's going in. 3 minutes left in the game. Pat Mahomes gets the ball, finds some booty-ass receiver that nobody knows. Nobody thinks he's going to get the ball at the end. Chiefs win by 2, 3.
And if the pass is incomplete, the officials will come in and throw a flag and get the first down.
They're crying about us them having that narrative like, bro, we saw the game. We saw
it. Making it worse, man.
Saw homeboy get the first down on the sneak, and the fucking referee runs across at first down, then sees the other referee and runs behind the line.
2 plays in a row, too.
We watching the game, and my boy like, look, they actually call him throwing flags. I'm like, it's third quarter, bro.
Yeah.
Wait to the fourth.
I refuse to root for the Chiefs at this point.
So did you hear? So they're actually outfitting. They're like equipping this in New Orleans, the Superdome, with this technology that's basically going to measure all these different points of the body of the players, and it's something technology they've been working on since 2021. It's not. Ready.
But what about pass interference? Like, let us throw a flag on that. You know what I'm saying? Let us be able to review if it's actually a pass interference or not.
So they're trying this, right? Yeah. So they're trying that, obviously, with
because we all know that the Super Bowl is the best place to try out new shit.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so they're going to try it. Obviously, it's an expensive process. It's not fully completed yet, but it's going to be interesting to see if that comes into effect in the game. But I just think the Eagles, I think Saquon Barkley is going to be too much for the Chiefs. She's had a good defense. What did it say? I hope both teams. Come on.
Do we have a tie?
I'm really on Team Meteor here for both of this stuff.
No line.
I'm okay with the Eagles winning because my guy Jalen Hurts.
I don't mind the Eagles as a team. It's just I hate their fan base. They're a bunch of they are the worst bunch of individuals in the NFL.
That's fair.
And then on the other side of things, I mean, every time Travis Kelce farts on the sidelines, I got to pan up to see Taylor Swift's reaction up in the press box. So, it's just,
it's pretty good.
But like Seventh Letter said that, we had the whole thing with Tom Brady and the Patriots before, and anytime you ever doubt them, then they just walk up and smack you in the face and just say, hey, remember who the hell we are. Mahomes and Andy Reid, those two together are, until proven otherwise, that they're the best in the business.
Remember when Baker Mayfield lost that coin toss? He knew what time it was. Remember how he did? Fuck, it's over.
Yeah, everybody knew it was over at that point in time. Yeah.
So we know they get the ball last. You know what it is.
And on the other side, I don't trust Sirianni to coach a good game. Like that guy loses his shit way too.
Yeah, no, he's another reason why I don't like the Eagles, but.
Yeah, coaching matters. Coaching does matter. We've established that.
They say they think Saquon gonna be too much. I'm like, all right. You think let Jalen Hurts beat you, and you got a pretty good game.
I mean, you got to remember, Spagnuolo's got a good defense in Kansas City.
For sure,
he does.
It's not the Kansas City teams from 3-4 years ago that just relied on the offense and had no defense. Now they've got a good defense, and their offense is still their offense, but
their defense though, has led up running game pretty intensely. I don't think, they're not the worst in the league, but I think they've let up decent amount. And Saquon is obviously on a whole nother level when it comes to running back right now. And
if they can't,
I'm rooting for him.
They're going to have troubles. Yes,
but I think he's obviously going to be the most important player on that
Yeah,
field. He wants it 100%. He wants it because he wanted that record. He wanted it to get that record, and he would have too. That's the thing, and it wouldn't even have
been poetic. They should have let him get it against the Giants.
I think they should have, just because it's.
But he showed his hands. He showed his hand the first time he was on the show. His second team is the Eagles.
That's true. He did. I forgot that.
Yeah, yes, he did. His second team is the Eagles. He want the Eagles to win. Sorry, man.
You talk about records. The records and everything. It's not. Doesn't mean as much. Obviously it means a lot, I think, to the offensive linemen, but some of these players is like Saquon, who done it. He wants a championship, right? And I think he wants it for Jalen Hurts. The narrative could completely change if the Chiefs don't win. I think obviously Mahomes is going to be Mahomes. He was even amazing when he lost to Tom Brady, right? I think it's going to take a complete team effort, and there's a lot of things that you give Andy Reid the benefit of the doubt. Andy Reid wasn't obviously he got to the Super Bowl, with the Eagles, but he didn't win it until he had Patrick Mahomes. So I don't know. If you get a complete team effort from the Eagles, they're capable, and obviously getting to the Bears connections to obviously.
Was he amazing? Was he amazing against the Bucs? You talking about because he almost got tackled and threw the ball flying in the air that time? And
he did. He had some amazing plays, did he not?
He was 50%, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns.
Did he have amazing plays?
50%, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He wasn't.
You got to remember though, Andy's benchmark is watching Caleb.
Thank
Williams.
You, yo. He had a nice move. Iverson shook Jordan. Jordan had 40. You know what I mean?
Did he have? He had some splash plays. That's all.
Splash. Hey. Yeah, that's why we like you. That's why we love Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I did as well. So obviously the Bears connections. Saquon Barkley was close to signing with the Bears, but also Jalen Carter. I'm glad. Obviously, Jalen Carter has had a good season. He's a solid player, but I just don't think he would have mixed well with what was happening in Chicago. So, this year, what he had 25 solo tackles, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Who else was around him? He had a decent defense around him too, right?
Nah, well, if y'all got sweating him, and that's he'd be good wherever you went. I love Jalen Carter, yo. He just kind of stupid, and I didn't have the team. And now I can draft the Jalen Carter because I have a culture now. I didn't have one then, so it would have been a little much. I needed people that was going to fall in line. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't have the franchise the Eagles have that can kind of temper that. Now I think I do, but whatever, man. But I don't care who. I hope Kendrick kills shit. That's what I hope. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the half.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what? My sister's making buffalo dip. That's what I would have. I'm going to win on Sunday. How about
Let's
that?
Go.
That's
what really matters.
Obviously, none of us are, have our main teams in the Super Bowl. So we're kind of looking for other stuff as well. And to 2025, obviously the Bears are the only team so far that are one in the division. They're 1-0 in 2025, which it's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. So when you look at, I'm going to start with you, Rhino, here. When you look at 2025, give us a way too early prediction of what the standings at the end of the 2025 season will be in the NFC North.
So you just want a 1 through 4 ranking?
Yeah.
Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago.
All right.
Wow, that's wild. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, like we the champs, for God's sake. Fuck.
Yeah, but you lost every coach that you've got except Captain Kneecap.
So. Coach, you matters, right?
Nobody needs those guys, man. Come on, man.
Tell you what, it's gonna be. I mean, we looked at
who you got
these...
now. Who are you getting for offensive coordinator? You bringing back Jim Bob Cooter or whatever his name was? Or who you...
Talking to the NFC North champs 2 years in a row. Matter of fact, we beat y'all ass at the end of both seasons. We won our first one against y'all and our last one against y'all. Stop.
This year was
with all your
Sam Darnold.
Talent.
Remembered he was Sam Darnold when we went against you guys.
Coaching talent you got, you lost against us. You ain't beat us.
This was a rebuilding year for us, though.
Well, it's gonna be rebuilding.
Last season was your best, like the best roster y'all had.
We ain't have no roster. Everybody was dead.
It's not.
We ran starters in depth. We beat y'all. We
didn't have a starting quarterback going into this season.
You do. Your quarterback was in a Pro Bowl. He was in a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Drake May was in the Pro Bowl too. That Pro Bowl does not mean anything anymore.
So Dre, I want to ask you a question.
Pro Bowl is a popularity contest.
Hey Dre, look at these opponents.
Process
here, Dre.
of elimination anymore.
The Vikings. This is some. It's a tough schedule, Dre. So. We don't know how it's going to shake out, but these are some tough teams.
Yeah, I think like obviously looking at that, like obviously divisional games, no matter what team you're playing, is going to be a difficult game, I think, at the end of the day. But Eagles, like that, especially with depending on how they play out this the Sunday, that could be a really tough game. They are, for the first time in I don't know how long, they're going to Minnesota. Like we've had to come to Philly how many times, and so I'm actually like that may be nice. The Commanders one, that I think will be a fun game to watch either way. Falcons game, not worried about that one really at all, unless Penix like really picks it up. Like I think the hype on that game was this past year, and obviously we did fine there.
Kirk Cousins, go ahead.
Yeah, I was okay. I was very happy with that. Cowboys, I mean, that could happen. I would imagine that would be.
Cowboys are going to be a dumpster fire next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that one's probably going to be a Thanksgiving game if I had to guess. And then Steelers, who knows what happens? Seahawks, I don't know what's going on there. And Chargers, I mean, they could turn it around. I think they could. That one could be a little. Well, I mean, the last time, like Keenan Allen kind of destroyed us. Last time we played them, which was it? I mean, it's a tough schedule. I don't think it's the toughest one, but like I think we have. I think I'll go into it with the same type of thing. If I get 8 or 9 wins, I'll be happy. I think that's where I'm feeling good about it. And I always say that just because of we have relatively speaking, a rookie quarterback coming in, essentially starting, which is always a risk. So, but then again, we had Darnold come in and we got 14. So maybe we'll get 10 wins, and that I can say 10 wins. I think on that. I think going like I wouldn't be against the rankings. I think the Vikings and Packers are going to be kind of like they could be neck and neck. I think the Lions have the coaching issue. I think that's going to hurt a lot. And Bears, very low floor, but they could have a mid ceiling. So we'll see.
I know you want to say it.
On paper, there's a lot of talent there.
I love that. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. Let's go to the Packers here. Miles, this is a tough schedule too. I mean, Eagles, Commanders, Ravens, Bengals, and the resurgent Carolina Panthers. Home opponents. Look at that. I mean, it's gonna be tough. Plus, then you got the road. Bears on the road is gonna be tough. Cardinals, Broncos. I think the Vikings have a little bit tougher schedule. Packers have a tough schedule though. It's going to be tough, I think, for the whole division. What do you think, Miles?
Well, these things have a way of looking different once you get to them again. Like none of us thought the Vikings would be what they were this season. I will say, I think a little bit of that catches up to the Vikings next season. But as far as this goes, I don't really think that there's any issues, anything. I mean, the Packers, their biggest opponent is themselves right now. I really don't see it's like, oh man, these guys got to play better on the road, or there's not a thing where it's like there's this one team that we just can't beat all the time, right? Yeah, obviously the NFC North is probably the toughest part of our schedule, I mean, but there's talent in all those places. Like you guys said, Dallas, I think it'll probably be a dumpster fire. Although, they're probably feeling a lot better about themselves after that Luka trade. There's really no way to get worse than that.
Really
took the pressure off the Cowboys for a couple of weeks, but
yeah, definitely. Jerry's over here wondering how he can get the press back on him.
He's going to try to get back on the next season of Landman, I think, probably.
Yeah. Hey, that worked out really well for him.
That did.
But yeah, I mean, there's obviously, I think here, a few kind of, easier looking ones. The Giants don't look like they have a whole lot of promise. The Browns look like they're kind of figuring things out and soul searching a little bit. The Steelers are always tough. The Cardinals have a lot of talent, and you wonder if they can bring it together. The Broncos look way tougher than I thought they would this season. I kind of thought that Sean Payton was buttering us all up for Bo Nix, and Bo Nix actually looks like the real deal. So, yeah, I think that the Packers definitely could end up with a pretty tough schedule next season, even though I guess you're not supposed to because you're third in the division or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't look too much at this yet because really this stuff ends up being different. Like I said, like we said, it plays out differently. And like I said, the Packers' biggest opponent right now has been themselves. So they've got to figure out how to win without making mistakes. They've got to figure out how to, get out of their own way and that kind of stuff. So until they do that, whether it really doesn't matter. The Chiefs, the Eagles, or the Browns or the Jaguars, it doesn't matter. So that's I don't know. Maybe that's an underwhelming response, but I'll give you my NFC North rankings. I'm definitely thinking the Packers all take a step forward. A lot of maturation happening in that locker room this offseason. They're going to launch back up to the top of the NFC North. The Lions, you guys got to take some growing pains. You're putting new people in important places. I'm not saying you're going all the way back down to the bottom, but I'm going to say you're in second place. I think the Bears finished third, and I think the Vikings finished last. The Vikings, what was supposed to happen to you this season catches up to you next season. And the Bears, I'll give you credit. You guys, I think you take a step forward, but I don't know if you're a playoff team yet.
That's what Josh Jacobs said.
What's that?
You hear what Josh Jacobs said?
Oh, I heard it. I agree with him, but I don't think. I don't think he's saying what everybody thinks he's saying. I don't think he's saying you have to go out and get T. Higgins. What I think he's saying is there's a lot of talent in this room, but he's also aware that the oldest dude in the room is 25 years old, right? The oldest dude in the room hasn't, he's barely filed taxes a few times, right? Like a guy like a Devontae Adams, if you bring him in, he could teach these guys how to be professionals and like how to be men, how to grow up a little bit.
That back?
Yeah, I don't know if you want that back. I think.
Yeah.
You want?
I do. Absolutely, I do. Wow. Yes. Yeah, I do.
His dad's not there.
What's that?
His dad isn't there though.
You can always bring him back too.
Yeah, bring them.
Well, let's. But I do. I think he offers you the best value, right? Like Devontae doesn't need to get paid top dollar anymore, so you get him for probably a pretty decent deal. Definitely better than like a T. Higgins, but he's also got like the ability to be a coach on the field, and the way that Devontae Adams was good at, for what he did, his skill set is transferable, right? He can teach these guys things about what he did. Whereas like a Tyreek Hill's, is kind of a different animal, right? Like a guy like that, he's great, but he can't teach his speed to somebody else, right? He can't teach somebody else how to be that fast and explosive on the field. He just is that.
Do you know someone?
I'd rather have Devontae.
Do you know who was someone I thought was going to teach wide receiver something? Keenan Allen. I thought he was going to do that too, but he's all about himself. Devontae may be all about himself, but so speaking about
Tyreek is. You don't want that.
No. Lions. All right. I mean, hey, I think this schedule might be tough here too because you got away playing with the Rams, Chiefs. Rams are going to be tough again. Obviously, Ravens on the road and the Commanders. I mean, that's going to be tough. Seventh letter. I mean, obviously you're positive. You're gonna,
Yeah, I see 13-4.
All right.
Like I told last year. Matter of fact, I went under. I should have said 15-2, but I didn't. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I see Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings. And
okay.
I don't know who the Vikings quarterback is, and even if it is homeboy again, like everybody knows what to do against him now.
It's JJ McCarthy.
Oh, is
JJ
McCarthy going to be fully healthy though?
Yeah.
All right.
He's already doing his rehab stuff without restrictions and stuff. They said here this week, so they're not concerned about any kind of holding him back when it comes to OTAs and stuff.
He 180 right now, man. He got to put some weight on. Then I might go back. Oh, what's his name? He looked real thin in Detroit. Real thin. I'm gonna go Detroit. The Bears, the Packers. It's like a toss up between the Bears and the Packers. And
that's fair.
Last, but again, like everybody will be over 500. I know that.
All right, it's going to be tough. I think it might be close, but
it's not going to be no 15-2 shit this year. I'll tell you.
No, I agree. Well, you already know. Obviously, I think the Bears are going to have. They have a tough schedule, but playing the Saints, not tough. Obviously Dennis Allen. Revenge game there. Road opponents are going to be tough. Playing in Baltimore, Cincinnati is going to be tough. Raiders not going to be tough. Eagles, 49ers, I'm not really sure what they're going to be. I think they could be down a little bit this year again. Eagles are going to be tough. Commanders, that might be an interesting game for Caleb, because really we did the Caleb Jaden conversation. Caleb drove the Bears down to win, right? They should have won that game. And he had that game winning drive that wasn't because of Tyreek Stevenson and blown assignments. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough, but I think the Bears are going to be right in the mix. I do think the Bears are going to be second in the division. I think it's going to be Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings. But I do think the Bears make the playoffs, and I think the Bears are going to eat this year.
What's that?
Okay.
What is that?
Here. I'm in a croissant here.
I thought he picked.
We're going to eat this year.
Corn dog, man. Like, what the fuck is he eating a corn dog
croissant here. The Bears are going to eat this year, and we're going to make the playoffs.
The Bears, shouldn't you be eating a bratwurst?
No, that's what we eat.
Yeah, but if you watch the super fans, they got the bratwursts and stuff there too.
Polish sausage. The Polish sausage.
Yeah, Polish sausage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bears are going to eat this year. We're getting to the playoffs. Caleb Williams. I mean, we get this all-star coaching staff.
I'll quit this podcast if you whip out a sausage over there on this fucking show.
Not this late at night. Tell you what, it's obviously this is way too early predictions because you never know like how it's going to be throughout the spaced out. I mean, it was crazy this year. The Bears didn't even start their NFC North schedule till week 10 versus the Packers. I mean, I doubt they're going to do that again. I hope not. You never know. But I appreciate everyone. It's been a great show. I appreciate everyone coming on tonight and chopping it up here. Obviously, we'll find out next week who wins the Super Bowl, and then we can actually literally move into off-season draft, all that stuff. Lots to come on all of that. But thanks for joining us. Rhino, where can we find you as we close out?
Facebook and YouTube at Vikings Uncensored. We got a show Friday night coming up live. So join in on discussion and all that other good stuff. We're doing free agent breakdowns and some of that stuff this week. So, and Twitter X at Vikes Uncensored. So
All right. Definitely like and subscribe, follow, all great stuff there as well. Dre, where can we find you?
You can hit me up on Skullman Sports on Facebook, Blue Sky, X, Twitter, whatever. Willing to talk about anything, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially off season where it's everyone is 0-0 except for the Bears. The Bears will want to know, hey, that's all right.
Why, bro? Why?
I'm gonna keep saying that. I love that. That's what I got. Always Blue Sky then for you, Miles. Obviously, thanks for coming and sharing your Shrine Bowl stuff. But always great stuff. We're gonna find you as well.
Yeah, I always love coming to hang out with you fellas on a Wednesday evening. You can find me on the Pack Weekly Pod Monday nights, 9:30 p.m. Central, streaming live on the Packers Talk YouTube channel. Check us out. We're going to do a lot of fun draft talk all the way through the draft, and then probably get nerdy about it afterwards and break down who picked who, man. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that throughout this season. So check us out.
Always great stuff. Definitely like and subscribe. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, obviously I give you guys a hard time as Packer fans, but our guy Trev, picked that Edgerrin Cooper. He wanted him. And so you guys do a lot of good research there and always point to the right players. I'm hoping that somehow the Packers, lose that drafting bug and draft someone who is not going to be helpful for you next year. But
what, you don't want to draft a punter again?
Hey,
he was the best weapon they had last year.
Yeah, but wasn't he not supposed to be used? Didn't Caleb Williams text him and say oh, you're not going to be punting very much?
2025. Yeah, 2025.
And 2/3 of the way through the season, the Torrey Taylor had more all-purpose yards than Caleb Williams did. So,
oh man,
now we have an offense and someone who is always on the offensive. And for his Lions, 7th letter, where can we find you as we close out?
Yeah, 7th letter 4, Twitter X, same OG, Instagram, Facebook, on top of the NFC North. Fly high, AC, baby.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for sharing that. Obviously, blessings to you and your family as well on that. Yeah, hey. That's why we all come together, because we can give each other a hard time, but it's not life or death here. It's
not that serious, right?
It's not that serious. Yep. So,
absolutely.
Well, lots to come this off season as well. So thanks again for everyone commenting and obviously listening and watching. And we will see you again next week, next Wednesday, as we dive in post Super Bowl and all that. We're going to have some other special guests with us as well. So thanks again, everybody, and have a great evening. We'll catch you again next week.
Go Pack, go.
That's good.
See you guys.
Got him.